In this video, we will see how we can pass values between view controllers. So I will start with a single view app, and I will call my app passing values. It needs to be Swift, and it's going to be storyboard, so I will click next, and then I will create my project. And since I'm going to be sending values through view controllers, then I'll need to add another view controller right here. And I will come to my library and look for view controller. I will pull a view controller right here, and I will just place it next to the original view controller. Now I know that this is the view controller that's going to appear first because I have this arrow here. You can move the arrow back and forth between your view controllers to control which one is going to be the first screen that you see. But I'll leave this as my first view controller, which is what I'll see when I launch the app. And I need to have a text box to type in some value and then a button to send those values to the second view controller, where I will be displaying them on a label. And then I will have a back button here just to help me get back to my original view controller. So let me have a button first in here, and that is going to be my send button. Okay, so let me just add my send button to my view controller somewhere in here. I'm going to call it send. So just double click it and say send. This is going to be my send button, and I will add another text field in here, and I will have this text field have whatever I want to send. And just to make it clear, I will add a label that says type in something to send. So my label is going to say type in something to send. And on the second view controller, I need to add a label to display whatever I received. So I will enlarge my label, and I will also add another button to help me be able to get back. So I'll call this button back. Now I need another class to control this portion, because I already have the view controller controlling this portion, so I need another class to control this portion. So I will go and click on File, New, File, and then click Next. And for this one, I'm gonna call it second view controller. You can call it any name you'd like. And I will create this, and I will go back to my storyboard. I have to do this step, otherwise I will not be able to connect those components to my second view controller. I have to go in here and come in the middle menu right here, and for the class I need to change the class to the second view controller class. This is the only way I'll be able to put whatever connections to the second view controller class. Now this button is what's going to take me from the first view to the second view. So I will hold in Control and pull the arrow here to create what we call a segue, and I will choose show. And for my segue, I need to give it an identifier. Usually this is a good practice because sometimes you need the identifier. Most of the times you need it actually, sometimes you don't, but just make it a habit of having this, because sometimes if you don't have the identifier, it's going to result in an NES exception. Okay, so now what I need to do is I connect those components to the appropriate classes. So I will come for this one. Let me start with this one. I will need another tab right here, and this tab is going to be for my second view controller. I will come to my storyboard, pull my label into here to create an outlet, and I will call this display label. And then for my button, I will pull it right here to create an action. I will call this back button, and I will connect both of those. Now what I need to do as well is to include another variable here. So I need a variable to be able to set it from the previous class, because what I will do is I will create a connection between this class, the view controller class, and this other view controller class, and then this class is going to be able to alter the variable in the other one. So I will come here and I will create a variable, and I will call this received text. So received text is equal to an empty string for now. And when I come to this class, whenever I jump from the previous view controller to the second view controller, and I activate this class, or call the things from this class, this received text is going to be already set by the previous view controller. So what I want to do is, whenever I load this portion of the application, I need my label to display the received text. So I will go within the viewDidLoad method, and this, when you do anything in this function, the first thing the view is going to do is call this function. So when I load, I want to display the received text on my display label. So I will write this line, display label dot text is equal to the received text. And now for my back button, I need to be able to go back to the previous view controller, so I need to dismiss this view controller. So I'll say presenting view controller dot dismiss, and animated is going to be true, and completion is going to be nil. So I'm all set with this class. Now I need to work with the other one. So let me open up a new tab, and right here I will pull my original view controller, and on the other side I will pull my storyboard. In my storyboard, I need to capture whatever text is displayed in this text box. So I will pull the text box, and let me call it send text box. Okay, so this is the sending text box. I will save it right here, and this is already activated as a segue, so I don't need to do anything with it. What I need to do here is I will come and implement a function that's called prepare for segue. So this function is what's going to allow me to send whatever information from this view controller to the other view controller. So I will just say func for function, and the moment I start typing prepare, I will say prepare for segue. It is the first one right here. Prepare for segue UI storyboard segue, and the sender any. So I will choose this one. I don't need that part right now. So the first thing I need to do right here is to declare a destination. So I will have a variable called destination. This variable is going to be the segue dot destination, and then I will say as. So what is my destination? My destination is my second view controller, and this variable is going to allow me to access the values in the second view controller. Now I can just say destination dot receive text is equal to, remember, where did I have my text? I have it in my send text box. So this is going to be my send text box dot text, and I need to unwrap this because it's a text box, and then I can go ahead and run it to just give it a test and type in something to send. I will say something, send it, and I get it displayed on my label. Let me go back and say another thing and send it, and I get it on my label. So this is basically how you can send values back and forth between view controllers. Now this is useful because sometimes you want to display different information on the second portion of the application based on, let's say, a search, or based on a value that you get. And this doesn't have to be a text box. It can be a label, it can be a table view as we've seen in the previous video, but this is another way that's a little bit different than how we did it for the table view.